This will change the podcast forever. I'm not joking. We've always wanted to get the people involved, and this is exactly how you do it. This is what we've been doing. I've been racking my brain together, and I've created a way in which you can interact with me and we can create the best show possible. Just watch the video, watch the episode of the podcast, and you can find out just how that can be done. It's very, very simple. All you've got to do is... Hello everybody and welcome back to the Young Fan Podcast and the Ranking Show. Week 3 of the Ranking Show, but the last Ranking Show in which things will be normal. That's right, you would have got I hope you would have got at the start of the intro. It's a very, very different introduction, I can imagine. But yes, I'm not lying to you, it's not clickbait. This will change the episodes, this will change the podcast hopefully for a long time, because I want to be more interactive with the people. I want to be more interactive with the fans. It's called the Young Fan Podcast. So I think we've got to get more involved with the fans. Instead of just listening to me, I want to listen to you, and then we can, have a little bit of an interaction thing going on there. And that is how, and I'm going to explain how we can do just that. Basically, the ranking show isn't going. But I did notice, and I'm not going to lie, I'm new to this whole podcast, YouTube thing. So a lot of people will be like, oh, you shouldn't say that, or I don't know, like, oh, that Jack, can't say that, or like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of why that would be the case, but an example. But people would say, oh, don't look at the numbers. But it's very, very clear to me that the ranking show isn't doing as well as I think it can do, and it's got potential to do much better. So I'm going to revamp it. Starting from next week, and in this episode I'll explain how, but starting from next week, we are going to be revamping the ranking show to get the people involved. So, strap in, hold tight, and this is how it's going to work. So, on the screen right now, you should be seeing something that basically is like an app, which is going to be like this, but it's going to be something that you can access, and as you can see on that sort of recording note, that should be here, it should be here, is like an example, which actually will be the exact thing that you'll be using for the first week. Basically, if you don't know how the ranking show works, the ranking show used to be, and will still be for this last time, me ranking the players on the performances over the last week. Now, I understand, and I get it. I do understand why this would be the case, that maybe it isn't doing as well as I'd hoped. It is because you just listened to me talk about the 10 performances. Personally, I don't think I'd want to, I probably wouldn't find the highest amount of interest for that. However, if I knew that I was going to get involved, and if I knew I was going to be part of the show, and I was going to dictate what happened, then I think I might be more interested. So hopefully that does change things for you, because now I want to hear from you. I want to hear where you think these players should be. So the way that's going to be done is very, very simple. So all you've got to do, after every single match reaction, there will be a link in the description of that video that will have the ranking show. So for example, it will list up the 10 in a sort of list of 10 all of the players and the positions that they're currently in the ranking show. After that game, you will then have the opportunity to click on that, or click on the link, click on the Young Fan Podcast ranking show link in the description of the match reaction of that week, of that game, and then you can decide whether that player should be moving up the ranking show, should be staying the same, and should be going down on the ranking show. Just how, again, hopefully, again, I'm going to put it on when I edit this. Hopefully, again, I'll show you the clip and show you basically how it's going to work. All you've got to do is select for each player. So for example, this week, let's just say, this isn't, again, let's spoil it. Let's just say this week, no, I'm not going to spoil it. Let's say this week that Sean Clare is in number 4. He's not, but let's say he is. Basically, on that app, it will say Sean Clare in brackets 4th. That is where he finished in the last ranking show. You will then decide whether he should go up based on his performance in that game, or he should go down based on that performance on that game, or he should stay the same. And then by the next ranking show, so that should be coming out, that will be coming out after every single match reaction, okay? And then once that was all been done, I'll be looking at the data, I'll be looking at all of that sort of thing. I'll then base my ranking show that will still be coming out either Tuesday, hopefully Tuesdays. I don't know if this will be coming out, I'm recording this on Tuesday, I don't think this will be coming out on Tuesday, probably Wednesday or Thursday. But basically what's going to happen then, I'll be looking at the data, I'll be looking at all of that, and then I will make the ranking show based on what you have decided the players should be and where you decide those players should be ranking. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you, you don't have to basically go, I think Taylor should be 4th, I think Gorin should be 8th or whatever. That isn't how it's going to go. You're basically just going to say whether they should move up, move down, and then based on everyone else's scores and everyone else's decisions when they go on that, I will then create the top 10 ranking show chosen by you. You are now dictating the ranking show. Now you're probably thinking, Jack, haven't I got to watch the games? I don't watch all the games. I'm not a sad person like you who sits there and watch the games. I get it. I understand that. In that case then, if you listen to the games, obviously, I mean, preferably you have to have some sort of knowledge on the game. Otherwise, the ranking show would just be literally based on nothing. Obviously, if you've watched the game, definitely give that a go. If you even listen to the game as well, you can get a good idea from listening to it on the radio, whatever it is. You can get a good idea of where you should think those your players should be. Whether even if you're watching it on like the old live commentary text on your phone or whatever it is, you can decide where you think that player should be. If you think that player seems like he's had a decent game, you have a go on there as well. So I'm not asking everyone that's just watched the game to do it. Literally anybody can do it. All you've got to do is after the match reaction of that game, the link to the ranking show will be in the description, and then that'll be done. You're probably thinking there's 2 games in a week, Jack. What happens then? What happens in the Saturday game? You don't normally do the ranking show. Sorry, if there's a Tuesday game and then the Saturday game, what happens there? Basically, I'm going to keep the link in the description for both of them, and you can continue to complete the ranking show survey. Is it a survey? I don't know what it's called. I mean, the interaction thing, and then those data will be all added up, and I'll make it into a cool little thing, and then we'll have the ranking show. The top 10 will be all dictated by you. That's all you need to know. You are now in charge. You can dictate it. It's not just me going off my top 10, it's you. So yeah, that's my idea. That's the thought that we're going with. It's not an idea. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Now, obviously, unfortunately, I'm recording this on Tuesday, which does mean that actually the Saturday game against Doncaster has been postponed. It's been postponed because Doncaster players have come home from international duty, or when they get back from international duty or whatever it is, they will have to be self-isolating, in which the game on Saturday. So that does mean that the Saturday game does mean that will be postponed, and that does mean that that game won't be going on. However, the Tuesday game will be. So what I'm going to basically do then is, so after the Tuesday game, I'll put the link to that in the description down below of that ranking show, and then what will happen then is that we will then you can do the scores or whatever, and you can decide whether they should go up, whether they go down based on the ranking show that I'm about to do in just a minute. So this will be exactly the same as the one you just seen as an example on the screen, and the one I'm about to do now. So based on the performance on the Tuesday game, and then based on the performance on the Tuesday game is against Crew, and then we've got a game on Saturday. I believe it is the next Saturday. This is just really good. I've made this so difficult. It's much more simpler, trust me. All you got to do is literally just say whether they should go up or go down. I've made it sound like it's some sort of, unbelievable invention that no one's. But it's just interaction. It just makes it more. We can. It makes it much better, in my opinion. So yeah, we've got a game against. We've got a game against Doncaster and then Crew. Wait, is that back-to-back Tuesday? No, sorry, we've got Wigan, haven't we? So, yeah, so the link will be in the description for the survey on Doncaster at home. No, it won't. That's been postponed. Sorry, Crew on Tuesday night. The link will be in the description to that. And then the link will also be in the description for the Wigan game as well. And then all those sort of things will be added up then, so it'll be the same survey, exactly the same survey, but then after each game, obviously, you then decide, and then I'll put the data together from two different surveys from the 2 different games, and then on Thursday, we should then have the ranking show from that week, Thursday or Friday. Obviously, the ranking show used to be coming out on like Monday or Tuesday, but now because obviously we want to get the Tuesday games and the Saturday games together, it's going to, and by the time I've done all that and recorded it and edited it or whatever, that'll probably be out on Thursday or Friday. The match reaction to Tuesday games are normally out on Wednesday, so obviously I'll do Wednesday, let you do your survey Wednesday night, Thursday, whatever, and then Thursday night I'll probably record it, out Friday, or I might even give you the whole of Thursday and then Friday to do it, I don't know, but hopefully I've explained that well. Very, very simple, really, is that after each game there'll be a survey, link in the description down below, where you can decide where you feel like that player should be ranked, whether they should go up or go down from the last week, and then obviously that will then dictate what happens in the next week. So, if Henry's in 7th or whatever, and then he scores a cracking goal against Crew, that you might say he moves up, and then he might move up, but then he might have a bad Wigan game. So then you might say, he's got to move down from 7th, and then obviously then it will give us a little in between where he goes. So you know what I mean? Hopefully that's explained it very, very well as well. So all you've got to do is say whether move up, no down, move up or go down or stay the same. All I've got to do then is take your data and put it into the ranking show. That's taken 10 minutes to explain. That is taking 10 minutes to explain. But hopefully you enjoy it. Now, I will be doing the ranking show. And this will be the most recent ranking show. This will be what you'll be dictating your decisions on for the Wigan away game and the Crewe home game on Tuesday. So when I say, give your thoughts on the game by clicking the survey down below for the On Fan podcast, this will be what you'll be judging it on. So this is going to be the last ranking show that I will be deciding just myself. From now on, the next one will be dictating from you, and that should be out not obviously this Thursday, the next Thursday after we've played Wigan and after we've played Crewe. That should be how it works. Actually, no, it won't be. It'll be past that. It'll probably be about 2 weeks or so, because obviously we've got a missing game on Saturday. So obviously it'll be next Tuesday and then Saturday, and then it'll be out in the middle of that week as well. So yeah, that's how it's going to work. So the timing of the ranking show will be changed, but it's because I want to get the people involved. You can now get involved. You are now part of the Unfan podcast because you can dictate where it all goes. Hopefully that revamps the ranking show. Hopefully that makes it more interesting and more appealing. So let's crack on with this week's ranking show. In number 10, it's a new entry. It's Josh Ruffles. The reason why I've given Josh Ruffles number 10 this week is because I think he had a cracking performance. I'm going to say cracking. He scored a goal. He scored a goal against Peterborough in the FA Cup. He did sort of make a mistake for the goal. I still think it's personally offside in my opinion, but he scored the goal and he had a much better performance in the game against Peterborough. I think he did okay. I think he did okay against Rochdale as well. I think he is sort of slowly finding his feet. He's slowly getting better. Josh Ruffles is number 10. The first time he's in the ranking show this week. He could drop out. It's down to you. You can drop him out if you say he has a bad game against Wigan and against Crewe, or Crewe against Wigan in chronological order. You can decide what happens. Number 9, I've gone with James Henry this week. He's dropped down 5 places. He was obviously, that means 4th last week. He hasn't been unbelievable, has he? He hasn't been unbelievable. He didn't play against Peterborough, so he didn't really get too much of an advantage there if you don't play in the ranking show. But he did okay in the game before that against Rochdale. So yeah, number 9 this week for James Henry. Captain against Rochdale, of course, but didn't play against Peterborough, but I'm sure he'll definitely be playing in the games against Crewe, and then obviously against Wigan away as well. So in number 8, I've gone with Sam Long. Sam Long has dropped down 6 places from last week, so he was in 2nd last week. He's now in 8th. He's dropped down. Reason why he's dropped down is because, again, he hasn't done anything wrong. He's played both games and he hasn't done anything wrong, but other players have had much improvement weeks. He obviously won Player of the Month as well, so congratulations to you, Longy. You have won Player of the Month, but obviously you have moved down because other players have played a very, very good week. But Long's done nothing wrong to stay in the top 10. Again, he hasn't dropped out of the top 10, so in the first 3 weeks, you could, again, like I say, you could drop him out. You can move him up. He can stay in 8th if you press he has no if you dictate the fact he has no change. You can now decide. The people can now decide. It's unbelievable. I'm so excited, as you can probably tell. So excited. It's such an exciting thing. 7th, I've gone with Sean Clare. Now 7th, it's hot and cold with Clare. It is hot and cold. Sometimes he has unbelievable games, sometimes he gets out of 10, and then sometimes he goes and has a stinker. He had a very good game against Rochdale. He didn't play against Peterborough, but his Rochdale performance was very, very good. He's moved up 3 places. He was bottom. Oh, I say bottom. He wasn't bottom because he was in the show, so he wasn't bottom, but he was 10th in the ranking show of 10. You can obviously now decide. I'm going to say that after every time. I'm going to stop saying that, but you can now decide what happens to Sean Clare after his 2 games against Wigan, against Crewe. You can move him up. You can move him down. It's all down to you. Sean Clare is in number 7 this week. Good performance against Rochdale. Really, really impressed with you. Sykes is in 6th. He moved up 3 places. He was 9th last week. And I think Sykes had a much improved couple of games. He did play against Peterborough, didn't he? He did play against Peterborough. And I think he did come on. I am doing this about a week. And this is exactly a week, isn't it? It's exactly a week since the Rochdale game, and I'm already remembering. He did play. He definitely did play. Did he? I don't think he might not have started, but I definitely do think he played against Rochdale. He must have done, because I said he did well. But he definitely, I think mainly the reason why I put him 6th is because he had a cracking performance against against Peterborough. I think he had a really good performance. I think he was really, really good on the ball. He did not. He came on in the 67th minute against Rochdale. And I do remember now, he had a very, very good game when he came on as well. So, yeah, he's moved up. He deserves to move up because he's done very, very well. Really impressed with you, Sykes, up to 3 places. Gorin has moved down 5 places. He is down 5 places from last week. He was first. Obviously, he's now in 5th. And that's another thing as well I didn't explain. So, for obviously number 1, you can't move up when you decide, but he can stay number 1. You can decide whether he stays number 1 or you can decide that he moves down as well. So Gorin is in number 5 this week. He's moved down 5 places. Again, I generally think he's one of the most underrated players for Oxford United. He's so important. He didn't play against Peterborough, but he did had a very good performance against Rochdale. Gorin is in number 5th this week. Number 5th place this week. So Taylor has moved up 2 places this week. He is in 4th, because Matty Taylor, I think, did very well against Rochdale. He closed down very well. His pressing was extremely good. And he was captain the side, of course, against Peterborough as well. Again, had a good job of captaining the side there as well. Matty Taylor, you've moved up 2 places. He deserves it. Matty Taylor was very good against Rochdale. Not so influential against Peterborough, but he was first time captain. Congratulations to you, Matty Taylor. You've moved up 2 places this week. Sean Ford. It's not Sean Clare, already done you. Anthony Ford, 3rd. Same as last week. The first player in the ranking show that is the same as last week. Incredible things. He stayed 3rd last week, this week, because he got a man of the match performance against Peterborough. They're out of the FA Cup. We're out of the FA Cup, but he got a man of the match performance against them. The ball in for Josh Ruffles was really good. He had a really good game as well. He played right back, which is pretty incredible. You know, he can play anywhere. And I wasn't so comfortable for playing right back when he played there last season. But this, right back, he did a really good job against Peterborough and a fantastic performance in the midfield against Rochdale. So Anthony Ford, you stay where you are. You've had a great week, my friend. Shadipo is up 5 places from last week because he's in 2nd. And he definitely deserves it. Shadipo, what a player we've got around here from on loan from QPR. He looks the business. He does look the business. He's sending players to shops. He had some Rochdale players on the edge. One player had to come off. One player had to get subbed off because he'd done him so many times. Shadipo, he looks quality. Very quick. Great with his feet. And looks like a great player. And he keeps scoring goals on Tuesday nights at home. MK Dons turned out to be the match winner. Rochdale, he scored. I've already mentioned that. Rochdale got a goal there as well. He loves Tuesday night games at the Kassam. Hopefully he continue doing that because because Shadipo looks very good, and hopefully he continue doing that as well. So yes, which only leaves us with one person. It only leaves us with the one player to go. The first player. You can decide whether this player stays where he is. You can decide if Elliot Moore, there he is. Elliot Moore decides. You decide where Elliot Moore goes. He doesn't decide anything. The fans of the podcast, the people that make the podcast what it is, you decide where Elliot Moore goes. Only you have that opportunity. You have the opportunity. It's in your hands. I can feel it. You can decide whether Elliot Moore stays number 1 because he's number 1 this week. 2 goals against Rochdale, banging headers. We only said in a few episodes, it was the ranking show. It was the ranking show last week. If you haven't watched it, check it out. We said last week, he's a cracking player defensively, but can he offer more going forward? He bangs in 2 goals against Rochdale. He watched the podcast, and that's why he's done it. Trust me, he won't admit it, but he did. He said after the game it was Carl Robinson that said that he should do better offensively, and it was him that did. Don't believe a word he says. He watched the Young Fan podcast, and that's why he was so good offensively. I'm joking. I am joking. I'm not going to start taking credit for good performances from players for Oxford United. I'm not going that far. We will eventually, but not yet. But no, you can decide. It's down to you. It's down to the people. You can decide where he is going forward. And if he stays number 1, you could say that he stays number 1. If a lot of people say he stays number 1, he'd be staying number 1. But he's got to perform. Elliot Moore's got to perform for you to think he stays number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the podcast. Hopefully the first 10 minutes when I'm explaining this does make some sense, because I feel like I waffled a bit. I probably should have rehearsed it, but we don't rehearse on the podcast. We just crack straight on with it. And that's why it's a podcast, and that's why we love it so much. So I do, you might not, but hopefully you do. Remember, subscribe to the Young Fan Podcast YouTube channel. We're on 94 subscribers. We want to get 100 before the end of the year, because that means we bring in live content to the podcast. And if we're bringing live content to the podcast, it means we're going to interact with each other even more. We can do live match reactions. We can do live match previews. A few of you, if someone said to me, "What, Jack? Why do you keep saying watch along? What's a watch along?" I'm sorry, I didn't explain it. I know what it is, but maybe some people don't, which is fair enough. Fair enough to you. A watch along is basically I have the game in front of me, so the game is here, and you're there. My microphone's here. The podcast microphone's here. The game is in front of me, and we're live streaming the game, but you can't see the game. You can see my reaction to the game. So if you don't watch the game, that's fine. I'm like a commentator. I'm watching the game. You get to see the live reactions. For copyright reasons, I can't show the game. That would be illegal, and the podcast would no longer exist. But yeah, so I am like the commentary. That's put you all off now. You're all going to unsubscribe. Please subscribe to the Unfan Podcast YouTube channel. That would be much appreciated. Follow the socials as well on Instagram as well at the Young Fan Podcast on Instagram, on Twitter as well. We're not great on Twitter. I'm not going to lie. I could lie and say we're great on. We're not very good on Twitter. We've only got like 3 followers on Twitter. Sounds awful when you think about it. That is actually at Young Fan Podcast on Twitter. You can follow if you want. I'm not that bothered. But Instagram's where we're mainly the most active. That's when I notify everything and do everything on that. And obviously YouTube is very active. YouTube's where we are. YouTube is what we do. So yeah, subscribe. Leave a like, tell your mates, tell your friends, tell your family, tell everyone about it. We're gonna have to think of a name for this. It's actually an app. It's actually a website that I found to make these online service that link stuff. But we need our own name for it. Is that illegal? Can we change the name of the website? I mean, you'll see the name of the website when I link it. I think it's called something like Sir. I don't know what it's called. But yeah. Hopefully you get involved. Hopefully you want to get involved. That would be much appreciated. This has been the Ranking Show. This has been the Unfan Podcast. People, thank you so much for listening to the episode of the podcast. Thank you for the continuous support on the podcast, and I will see you later. Have a good rest of your Have a good rest of your week, people, and I'll see you later. Stay safe, stay healthy, and yeah, I'll see you later. Goodbye.